Time Travel Part 2. Ecclesiastes 3:15. Quote, "That which has been is now, and that which is to be has already been, and Yah requires that which is past." Isaiah 46:9 through 10. Quote, "Remember the former things of old, for I am Yah, and there is none else. I am Yah, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasures." Example. This is another reason why I believe in the Tanakh. This is the only manuscript and God that can make this type claim and back it up. This tells us Yah is outside of time. We cannot perceive it, but one of the curses of Adam and the earth was that they were thrust out of infinite time into a linear timeline. Adam was never supposed to die, but when sin ruined it, our universe was basically put on the clock. Though I do not subscribe to the book of Revelations, it clearly states the meaning of time as we know it will cease to exist. That's Revelations 10:6. If the evildoers are able to go outside of time and see a time where they have won, they will try to reverse engineer events as they see them. What they will not realize is what they saw was a delusion and the mechanism to get them into position to fight the final battle. Remember, Yah will have to put hooks into their jaws to make them come to fight. It's as though they realize it, that they had been tricked, but it's just a little too late. Or we can take a more plausible scenario of only being able to send information back and forth in time. I say this is more plausible because scientists are already tinkering with this technique and are now on the verge of time travel at will. Take the Super Collider in Switzerland, for instance. They, which is the Discovery Channel, and Alvaro de Rahula, PhD, theoretical physicist, will actually admit they are trying to, quote, create dark matter, primordial matter, extra dimensions, little wormholes, and little black holes here. Now, add this into the equation. According to Yahoo News, under quantum teleportation reaches furthest distance yet. Quote, about 5 years ago, researchers could only transport or teleport quantum information such as which direction a particle is spinning across a few meters. Now, they can beam that information across several miles. Quantum teleportation doesn't mean it's possible for a person to instantly pop from New York to London or instantly beam aboard a spacecraft like in television Star Trek. Physicists can't instantly transport matter, but they can instantly transport information through quantum teleportation. This works thanks to a bizarre quantum mechanics property called entanglement. Example, think about it for a second. The outer body is only hardware, but the soul/spirit is our software. Software has no mass whatsoever. I can put 100 new programs or viruses on my computer and it will still weigh the same. That's why they are trying to transport information or a person's consciousness so that mass, drag, gravity, and weight doesn't come into play. It's the movie Matrix in a sense. I watched that movie a couple of times and I am convinced the black woman who actually wrote it channeled it from a spirit. I write movies, so I look at them for much more than the action and the storyline. It is truly what the evildoers want man to become, minus being batteries. Yeah, I know mankind is clever, but they ain't that damn clever to write something so complete without a little help from one of their friends. Remember, mankind's brain cannot function/think outside of its reality, meaning you must already think something is possible or your mind will never think of it. She would have had to have been one of those ascended masters I keep hearing about, to blend the many intricate philosophies in the movie into one thought. She is the Einstein of movies. The Matrix is E equals MC squared. The words, the names, the meanings, and dogmas behind each of the names and situations. The dialogue, though it sounds like rambling, was the very embodiment and culmination of a perfectly blended religious theosophy. The powers of the human mind and spirit, transhumanism, dimensional travel, transmitigation, reincarnation, Gaia worship, oracles, outside designers, etc. It was pure evil genius. But wait, like I said before, your brain cannot fathom what is outside of your perception. So the evildoers encode perception that are outside of our normal consciousness through visual stories, i.e. movies. It was lore that the historical Xerxes became a giver before he marched on Greece. If you ever saw the sequel to the movie 300, the producers took us through the process of how he became one. Take the Avatar movie, for instance. Do you see how it took the moviegoer to a perception they had never perceived before, and the result effect it had on the scientific community? People were getting sick, becoming addicted, etc., because of the bending of the mind perception. Now, adding to the story of the future in that they are able to take the consciousness out of one person and put it into another. Not only that, the other was in an entirely different dimension. Yeah, they use awe-inspiring visual effects. I bet you the director personally saw the visuals while high and getting his instructions from on the other side. That's a caveat. Have I talked about the DMT drug yet? If not, I got to go back and look at these videos. I'm gonna do a video on it. Well, DMT is it's a drug that the elite take, and it actually puts them on the other side. It allows them to talk to entities that they say sometimes are pleasant to them, sometimes are mean, but they always seem as though that they're waiting on them. It's deep. It's real deep. And like I said, the elite and the capitalists and all that, they take this drug to get unprecedented information on commerce and things of that nature. I'll do something on it if I haven't already. But let's get back to it. Let's see. The visual sets and worn out Pocahontas theme. That was a worn out Pocahontas theme. But the subplots were what is coming up on the horizon. Now, add Ron Mallett. He's a black man, a professor of physics at the University of Connecticut, into the equation. Why? Because if you listen to the finality of his words, he has already achieved what everyone else is striving for. He invented a machine that uses the light of lasers to speed space around into a loop. Other than trying to use it as a wormhole like most scientists try, he instead uses the motion of the swirl to send messages back to the past. I know this sounds crazy, but just read what he and the National Geographic said about his invention. Quote, "This is a real time machine. That means when you turn it on today and leave it on, it will only act during the time you have it on. If I turn it today and leave it on for 100 years, then I can travel from 100 years from now up until today. I cannot travel before the machine was turned on. For me, the solace that I get from that is in the fact that I would have achieved this goal, which was inspired by my father, and I think that if he, had lived, he would have been very proud of what I have been able to accomplish. So that gives me solace. that I will have accomplished an understanding of time and created a time machine, and I will be able to live with that. The narrator said this device, quote, if all goes as planned, it could be stable enough to keep twisting time for a century or more, becoming in effect a phone line to the future. Anyone with access to the machine could send any kind of information back to that first, and then the video cuts off. Can you imagine having this machine? It would mean you would never make a mistake because you could send the correct path back to yourself. Wow. The movie industry is already in full operation to get you to accept these upcoming realities with movies like the new X-Men, Something to the Future, Loopers, Butterfly Effect, Back to the Future, 12 Monkeys, The Planet of the Apes, Time Bandits, and the Terminator series, etc. All of them with the theme of going into the past to save the future. Why is this important, you ask? Because I believe the enemies of us all have used this device to place well-documented evidence as chess pieces throughout history. So when the famous artifacts are discovered, it would only prove their case as truth. Case in point, if you were an evil genius and wanted to deceive an entire world by answering all of the nagging questions the world have about their existence while propping yourself up as the creator of it all, what period of time would you travel to? Me, myself, I will go back to just before the Ark of the Covenant is lost. Why? Because then I could put whatever evidence I wanted in or around it that points to me. Heck, to prove that I was the man, I would even tell the world where to find it. Once the Ark is found, the world has no other choice but to believe whatever is within or associated with it. The Ark is the true test of Muslims, Christians, and Judaism, and its discovery and context will solidify the world rulers. Jeremiah 3:16, quote, and it shall come to pass, again, and it shall come to pass, when ye be multiplied and increased in the land, in those days, says Yah, they shall say no more the Ark of the Covenant of Yah. Neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore. Example, who talks about the Ark of the Covenant now? Show me in the Bible where the Ark was a tourist attraction. Even if they make another one for the third temple, it wouldn't be authentic with the supernatural powers the true Ark displayed throughout the Bible. Most importantly, to not do something anymore can only mean we were doing it at one time and have to stop. I think this is being done this way because the Ark would have been tainted by the son of perdition and his people. If you read Why Do the Heathen Rage, you will hopefully come to the conclusion, just because it says the Israelites will be in the land, it doesn't mean they will be living in Jerusalem, or the people handling the Ark are the true Jews. I believe this is the reason why the spacesuit men with helmets are etched in stone and what appears to be images of helicopters and speedboats on the walls of ancient Egypt. But what I'm believing, as we just read through the scriptures, Jeremiah 3:16, the Ark of the Covenant is going to be found. They are going to find it. Again, you can't tell me it won't be visited anymore. It won't be talked about anymore. We won't remember it anymore when it's out of sight and out of mind right now. That can only mean it's going to be found. And I'm believing this cat or the world is going back and placing chess pieces of evidence all throughout history. And well, we call it history, but all throughout different areas. So when they are discovered, and of course they're going to be discovered, everything and all the information is going to point towards them, or whatever philosophy that they're trying to bring onto the people, which is only going to hook them, sink them. I mean, it's just, I can just see it now. So look at Xerxes. Was supposed to be Xerxes. He really didn't look like that. But I believe, again, time travel is going to manifest itself. It is already here on the horizon. This guy, Ron Mallett, if you've noticed the screen, he's on Time magazine. All these reputable magazines who have actually vetted his information and vetted his theories, and they all say this is a go. Information is the key, though it may not be a physical body. Now, I'm thinking maybe it is a physical body, but during time when they perfect it. But as we have heard right now, and this is just what they're telling us, we're not even looking at the military capabilities of it, which we know are 25 years before, ahead of its time, before the public gets the watered down applications to put into industries. But that cat right there, time travel, they got it. He said he can do it. He will do it. And if you listen to the finality of what he said, he has done it. So, thank you for listening, and look for the next video.